grown to include herself plus 8 other members. The Laura Rosen team has now won various awards, including Team of the Year 3 times in 2018 by West USA Realty Homeowners Magazine and Scottsdale Association of Realtors. Lauren feels her greatest accomplishment is watching her team members grow into amazing agents. Welcome, Lauren. And next we have Wendy Larchek. Welcome, Wendy. Wendy joined Keller Williams and started her real estate team in 2015 in Payson, Arizona, population under 15,000. Wendy and her team of 3 agents sell almost 50% of all luxury sales in the Payson market, totaling, I need my glasses, $68 million in sales last year. I think that 65 wrong. Wendy manages 75 plus listings as a listing agent for her team. Also, she was voted the best real estate agent and best business person in Payson 3 years in a row, and best business in Payson and in Rim Country last year. Most of all, Wendy is passionate about giving back to her community and serves on several charity boards, sponsors numerous charity events, and recently drafted an adequate care ordinance which included an anti-shaming provision and got it passed into law. Congratulations. Hang on 1 second, I need these glasses. And look at my font, I have no excuse. Okay. And finally, we have Corinne Wynn. Corinne is a wife and a mom who has raised 4 children while building her business over the last 16 years. She knows the challenges of growing a successful business and maintaining a happy and healthy personal life, very important. She grew her business through the downturn, selling 896 homes in her best year, earning her the #2 ranking in the U.S. She has owned a real estate brokerage, sold over 5,000 homes, and currently co-leads one of the top teams in the U.S. with her husband and son. She also privately coaches individual agents as well as those running small and large real estate and mortgage teams. Her mission is to transform the lives of great-hearted people by fostering emotional and economic wealth so that they can create the most incredible legacies possible. Let's give it up for our panel today. All right, we're going to dive right in. First of all, if you could tell me individually, how did you decide where, let me grab the mic real quickly. This way you can just pass it down. There you go.
You want us to go this way?
Sure. Okay, how did you decide where to focus your energy in real estate and then specialize in, for example, Corinne, high producing team lead?
Yeah, so mine was totally by accident. I started off as a mother with some young children and got into REO when the market tanked. And as she mentioned, I sold almost 900 homes at the peak of my career. And so when I looked at that, I thought, well, I can't sell 900 homes traditionally without having some really great leverage. And so the natural was to start a team and help those people develop their skills, look at their goals, and focus all the energy on helping them, just like I went out to go help clients. And what was important to my sellers, because I really focused on sellers more than buyers as a listing agent, the focus has shifted over to my team members.
Congratulations. Wendy, what about you? How did you decide where to focus your energy in real estate and then to specialize in dominating luxury real estate in a small market?
Okay. I hope you don't mind if I walk around. I think kind of when I walk. I'm going to walk and talk. So I started my team in 2015, and my advice to all of you, and so I'm going to kind of expand what I did so it could apply to all of you, is look at what is important to you. You have to be authentic as you develop your business and figure out what are the most important things to you. Who are you? If you're a high driver, so I believe strongly in the DISC behavioral assessment. And in that, if you're a strong driver, I'm going to imagine all high Ds, right? If you're a high D, that's one thing. If you're not a high D, but you're high at INS, that looks completely different in the real estate world. So get an assessment done, whatever personality assessment, and figure out where your niche is in the real There's many different positions in real estate. Figure out what your position is. So I'm a high D, and I just happened to invest in real estate and speculate in real estate. So I ended up in a golf community called the Rim Golf Club, which is 2 golf communities up in Peaston. And in that, I just started farming my neighborhood. So all of you have a neighborhood, farm your neighborhood. So I farmed my neighborhood, and in doing that, I made sure that I dominated it, and then I expand little by little by little until I've expanded to all of Rim Country in our luxury market. And our luxury market's $500,000 and above. It's not $1 million and above. It's $500,000 and above. So putting that in perspective, but it's allowed me really to dominate and own that market. And along that path, I found good people to surround myself with. So I have 2 really amazing buyers agents that specialize in luxury as well. So that's how we expanded and dominated.
Congratulations, thank you so much. Okay, next we have Lauren, and your specialty is high producing team working with investors. How did you come to that?
So I'm a realtor that got too busy, and so I had to build a team. Because there's a point where you just have to sleep. And it's funny, I got in this business in 2003. I was a waitress. I put myself through college. I grew up in Brooklyn. Like, my neighbor told me, come call a mortgage lead. And I was like, what's a mortgage? You know, I mean, I grew up in an apartment in Brooklyn. And so I jumped in with both feet, and I just worked, and I prospect every night. And then a year later, I was like, I think realtors make all the money. I want to be a realtor. And then I had this great coach, and he told me you really need to have a specialty in anything you do. And at that time, it was like 2003, 2006, you know, rates were dropping. So I was really interested in the investment side of it. So I just decided if I made myself so valuable, that the knowledge that like I will attract clients. And so I've been doing a lot of units a long time by like just remembering me. So now that I have this team for the last 2.5 years, it's like, I've got to build a CRM. Like, I got to like teach them what's in my head. And I think that's the hardest part. So it's kind of like a transition. About 2.5 years ago, I put the team together because I really needed more time. And that's why I built my team. And then what I didn't expect was how rewarding and fulfilling it is to like watch my agents like be badass agents, right? I mean, I was one girl, she's doing 9 this month, my other guy did 4. You know, these are people who've been realtors less than 24 months. So it's been like mama bear, you know, watching them grow. So.
You're obviously teaching well. Congratulations. Molly, same question. Your specialty is flipping and design, that side of the real estate industry. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I think in whatever your niche is in real estate, I think passion is what you have to have. And so, sorry, this is my first time. I was always passionate in flipping. I remember helping my dad out. He bought some house off of 24th Street, and we went in and we painted it together when I was little. And I always remember being passionate about that. And I just found a letter from 7th grade where I wrote like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And it was like, flipping houses, like real estate. I always loved that, and I think that's what you have to have is passion. If you have that, you'll succeed at what you do.
It's a great approach. Thank you for sharing. Congratulations. All right, I'm going to ask the next questions, and please feel free to take the mic and answer however you feel best. How have you personally invested in real estate?
I don't need to answer that one. I might need it later. Personally, we have a half dozen rental properties that we've acquired. I think that's probably one of the things that I'm sad most about, that we don't have more properties. We haven't done a lot of flip, but the one thing that I did also want to share besides having rental properties, well, there's 2 things. One is, a couple of weeks ago I went to training, and the person running the training said, you know, it's interesting in real estate, you guys just work for tips, and your tips are only 3%. I thought, what? Oh my gosh, that just had this fire, you know, in my stomach when he said it. And he thought others are out there working to actually build wealth, and you really build wealth by owning real estate. And so it was just a good reminder to me, and hopefully it gives you a little sting like it did for me, that we don't want to always work for tips, that we are the first buyer, and that we put the hat on first before we're looking at, you know, oh, I got to stage the house and take photos and all those things. This is something that we want to purchase. And then the other one is the seller carryback. one of the things that my husband and I were able to do this last year was we had a seller that wanted to, it was a property where the person passed away, I think it was their mother, and they needed the cash right away. So when it fell out of escrow, they did not care about selling it to the highest price. They really needed to get to California. She had some disabilities, and she was willing to take a much lower price. So we basically gave some cash, small amount, and I think it was like $40,000. Seller carried it and did a double escrow, and we're able to make almost $40,000 in 30 or 45 days. And so it's just one of those things. It wasn't us taking advantage, it was actually us stepping in and helping someone in that situation. And so again, it's just kind of a reminder to us. I think as agents sometimes as well, we're thinking, well, I don't have $200,000 or $500,000 or all this money to do it. And so we have to remember the creative ways that we can do things as well, like seller carry, and the seller can carry the properties, and we can actually build our portfolio that way. So hopefully that gives you a little seed like it did for me.
Great information.
Well, I became an accidental realtor. I got my real estate license purely because I was investing in real estate. I never intended to represent anybody else. I bought my first fix and flip to put myself through school. So not to get the wrong impression saying about, a home in a golf community up in Payson. I did not come from luxury, or I did not come from money. I grew up in a trailer in Wyoming. But I knew how to work hard, and so I was doing fix and flips. I make the joke, I was doing fix and flips before it was an HGTV show. And that's how I put myself through school. And I just kept building. So my very first fix and flip was on 69th Avenue between Thomas and Indian School. Do you guys know that area? I had no business walking around putting flyers out and that, but I was self-marketing it myself, so I would go and do that. So being a real estate agent, you have a front line to investment opportunities. And like Corinne just said, you need to capitalize on that. There are so many opportunities out there. So I started out a little condo. It was a HUD repo at 69th Avenue and Indian School of Thomas. And by 2001, I had graduated to doing spec home, $1 million spec homes at the Rim Golf Club in Payson at age 28. So I just continue to build, and even to this day, my team and I have a buyer specialist on my team, and he's always out in the field. I represent sellers looking for fix and flips. So his and my deal is he finds them, I buy them, we have them together, and then we proportionally split the money. I'm also doing some projects like a boutique hotel on Main Street, a little 10 to 12 room hotel, a tiny house subdivision. And all of these are small projects. The height of the market, I foolishly, height of the market 2006, foolishly was doing $2 million spec homes at the Rim Golf Club. So I tapered that back quite a bit. I've learned my lesson. But we really do have an opportunity to see things and look at things creatively, and also make passive income. And that's something that you want to look towards doing as you're looking towards retirement. So that's what some of these other projects that I'm doing. We work pretty hard, and I feel like, it's not forever. So figuring out other ways that you can have passive income or build growth and capital is really important.
Do you want to tackle that one or go on to the next one? Yes, absolutely. Okay. So how have you personally invested in real estate?
Which deal should we talk about?
The best one.
So I bought one a few weeks ago. So my agents are always on the hunt, right? Like I'm their first investor. So before we sell to any investor, we want to review it, make sure we don't want it. I'm a really big believer in passive income and buying rental properties. I'm also a huge believer in living below my means. And so I know this market's been on this 8-9 year upward, but you guys need to start saving your pennies, because when this market dips, you can make a lot of money. The most money I made is when the market crashed, and I went into trustee sales. I bought really heavy for 5.5 years. Like, if I actually built my team then, I don't think I would be working right now. I was like a one-man show, going to everything. So that went really well. So recently, one of my agents we always bring cash offers for listings now because everyone's doing it, right? Offer value, so we just bring our own or theirs. And so recently, like the other day, we got one yesterday with Parker for $180,000. The ladies, we were like, "Oh, just list it. It's worth $240,000." And she's like, "No, I don't want to deal with it. Just buy it." So we ended up snagging that one. I bought a family 2,200 square foot house 2 months ago, but it's on a multi-family lot, so I made it a duplex. It's half an acre, so I made it a duplex to cash flow on it, but the plan, the exit strategy is to build something on it in a couple of years when the building costs go down. So right now, I'm really, so I came from like no money, so I'm really into like the low end cash flow investments. But it's really your personality. Like, if you can't deal with that, like what the neighborhood you're talking about, like, don't buy there. Go buy the $500,000 rentals. Like, I'm really into the passive income. I do flip, but I think that that's a certain personality, and I think passive income is where people really need to focus. And I think realtors need to get over the fact that you're going to make 3% for much longer. Because it's changing, and technology is here. And if you don't have other, like, the key to wealth is multiple streams of income. So your commissions are one income. What's your others? And that's what you just need to look at. So.
Great. Molly, you've been flipping for a while. How much have you actually invested?
So, we actually started, I had worked for an investor who lived in California, was spending his money here, was using hard money loans, which I feel like we live in a world where they literally will give you money without checking your credit, without checking your identity, without checking anything. And that can be a blessing or a curse. But anyways, I was working for this investor. He was in California. I was here. I was doing all the work, and I was working for free pretty much. And I would list his houses after they were done at 1.5%. Which, mind you, flipping houses is way, way more work than showing a buyer or listing a house. Anybody who tells me that they want to flip houses, I say, no you don't. Get a buyer. Way easier. But anyway, so I got all of the knowledge from him because I was doing everything, or the knowledge for myself. And our first flip, we bought a little condo. We had an 18% interest rate, which is a lot of money and a lot of risk. My partner and I had just sold my first $500,000 house, so I had that $15,000 check come in, which is like, woo, I'm rich. And I invested 10 grand of it into this flip. He invested 10 grand, and we both made 20 grand, or we made 10 grand, so we got 20 grand back. The next one, we invested 20 grand each and made 20 grand back. And then we just kind of spiraled from there. There was some backward spiraling, there was some forward spiraling, there was some in between that. And it was all a good learning experience, but if you know what you're doing and you can do it well, you can make good money. Our market now is a little bit different, where we're scaling back on what we invest in as a flip, and we're focusing our energy in other places and helping our buyers renovate and helping our investors who still want to do that renovate. But yeah, how we started investing was small, and then learning from that and taking what you've learned and maybe scaling it up a little bit. And we've definitely had times where we've, made decisions that we wish we wouldn't have. But that's how we invested in. Now our investments are more secure and more safe. And if we buy something that's a flip, we have an exit strategy. So if we can't sell it and make money, then it's a rental for a year, or an Airbnb, or we just hold it. But that's how we started, and I think if you're going to invest in flipping, make sure you know your numbers, make sure you're cautious, make sure you have an exit strategy. Don't invest money that you can afford to lose.
Very important.
Have a huge buffer. I see people still who are flipping for that 20 grand margin, where they're like, I can make 20 grand really quickly using hard money. And if something goes wrong, or if your numbers are a little bit off, which I think everyone here has listed a house that said, hey seller, we're gonna get 220 and it sells at 200, you're not making any money, and your money as realtors, or your time as a realtor is worth your money. So be cautious.
Great information. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. Yes, Carol.
My question is, as a flipper, because I had somebody approach me wanting to do that, do you use contractors, licensed contractors? Because I know as an agent, and investing money in flips, you can get yourself into some trouble if you don't have
100%. Yeah.
The question real quickly is, if you want to flip, do you use contractors? Okay.
If you want to flip, absolutely use licensed contractors. Talk to someone else who's already done it, because the mistakes that they've made, they've probably learned more than more than you would ever want to learn. But yeah, use licensed contractors. Check for permits on things that have additions. Check square footage. I've seen so many people get into it, make a little bit of money, buy 4 houses and think they're going to be rich and lose it all. So yeah, cover all of your bases, but definitely use a licensed contractor.
Okay, we have a question over here.
Oh, I'm loud. You had mentioned something about helping your buyers renovate.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that for me?
Yeah, so last year we were flipping a ton of houses. It was probably last year, the year before it became this like really hot commodity to be a flipper and everybody wants to do that. And now our margins are so thin that for us, our time is better spent with buyers and sellers. So the happy medium between the two is that we help our buyers flip. So it's a hot market, people can't find what they like. If they can find what they like, they still want to change out countertops and flooring and paint. And so what we do is the buyers that we work with, we help them find something that's undervalued. We help them purchase it as a buyer's agent, and then we help them renovate it.
To live in, right?
To live in, yeah. Not to flip. We help investors flip too if they still want to do that. But we basically took that same concept and moved it to our buyers, which for them works awesome because I feel like everybody has a buyer in here where if you had $100 grand more on their budget, they could probably find what they want. But if you can build that in where they get the equity, they're in a house that they want, they have the design that they want, and they have, 20% equity sometimes.
And now they're committed to you for life.
Yeah, and then also in a market where we have like Open Door and Zillow and all these people who they don't have to be skilled at what they do. They can be, they are. But that has helped us set us apart to where people want to work with us because of our specialty. You can't go to any agent and just say, hey, I want to remodel a house. I want to find something where I have good equity. I want to use this as a good investment. So that has made it where people want to come to us rather than we're reaching out to try and see who we can work with.
Can I add something?
Did that
to
answer
what
your
you
question?
said?
What was the question? That's
One of the things I think all of us on this panel have learned, and you kind of spoke to it, and she wasn't as explicit as I'll be. If everybody is doing something, it's no longer relevant. Do you get that?
Yeah.
She stopped doing fix and flips. You need to be ahead of the game. You need to look for the next thing, whatever it may be. If you are following everybody's doing something, you're too late. And most likely, you're going to lose money because the margin isn't there anymore.
Well, let me just piggyback off of that. What would you say is the next big thing right now? Like, what do you see evolving into the next big thing?
Flat rate listings. So, sorry guys, go buy rentals.
And I would add, I think I work a lot with buyers. You guys work a lot with listings, I would assume, because you're such high producers. But I think buyers want that. They want to be involved in the renovations. Like everybody watches HGTV. Everybody has that perfect design of their home in their head. And so I think buyers are evolving too. They're more picky. They know what they want, and they want to be involved in the process. So if you can kind of help them check those boxes, you're setting yourself apart from other buyers agents.
What I've noticed is that buyers, they don't want the hassle of the fixing. They want to walk in and have it done.
We can't hear the question back here.
They do.
Repeat that question. Some people do and some don't.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that, Wendy?
I didn't hear it either.
That's okay.
Hang on.
She said buyers don't want the hassle of doing it themselves. They want it done.
That's what I have found. A lot of buyers, they really want to buy that thing when ready. They don't want the hassle of,
Fixing.
tear down and fix up.
And where I have a job is that they can't find it.
Well,
You know.
here you're missing the point. She's making it not a hassle.
Right.
She's doing it for
I
them,
get
so
that, I get
it's
that.
like making it easier for them.
I get that.
We help, but yeah, renovations are always a hassle. But I think if every single buyer had a chance of buying what they wanted, move-in ready right now, or doing it themselves, they would always choose move-in ready, but the inventory is just not out there. Anybody who's shown houses, there's not the inventory that we want, and buyers are 100% more picky now than they were 5 years ago.
Great, thank you. We have another question back here. Go ahead, sir.
So you're working with buyers in the renovation program, are the buyers doing with the lenders, are they working with lenders from a home renovation program that they're doing? Because, I mean, you kind of look at the profit margin for a fix and flip, because there's not much inventory out there, you're trying to get that 15%, 12-15% in return, and it's not out there. So, for those buyers who, looking for properties that are not getting that return, is it possible, are you working with the lenders?
Doing the 2 or 3K? No, it's too hard.
So, the first part of that question, I think, was, are the buyers that we're working with using a loan
Right.
to renovate? Some do the home, I think the home style loan, which you tie in a renovation cost to your purchase price, which is kind of its own animal. You really need to know what you're doing to do those loans, and then also to work as a buyer's agent with those loans. A lot of them have the cash and use it and then refinance out of it. And then I think the second part of your question was, are the buyers finding that equity where flippers aren't?
I would think they would, down the road.
Yeah, and they don't have, if I flipped a house, the numbers that I would have that a buyer wouldn't have would be hard money or an investor, unless you have the cash to do it yourself, and then a commission to sell. So they have the equity of a commission, so a 6% commission, they just get to keep for themselves until they sell, and then they're paying a conventional loan, so they're not paying an 18% or a 10% interest rate.
Or unless they're living in the home.
And the buyers that I'm talking about are all moving into the home.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, thank you.
But if I get a contract, if I have 5 offers on a property and one of them is a 2 or 3K, there's not a chance I'm even look, I don't even know about presented. I mean, no offense, but there's limited inventory, so the people that she's talking about do have a little bit of money to do the to do the remodels. I'm the opposite. I bring a contractor to my listing appointments, and I usually try to enhance the house a little bit, and then add value. And I'm also really good about telling people to not do stuff. No, you don't need to redo all your countertops and this. But if you paint, it just depends on the market. I've been through a lot of ups and down markets, and so right now you don't have to do as much, and you get a house sold because there's 2.1 months of inventory in this county right now. So it just depends on the market. Sometimes you need to do a full-blown remodel. Problem probably you come across is that you want it perfect. So it's we should have gorgeous South Scottsdale remodels, So it's in this market you don't even have to, and so it's hard.
Okay, next question.
Do any of you work with interior designers when you're doing the remodeling?
I don't know how much flipping we want to talk about today.
Right.
I think
Let's move on to this.
But absolutely. So by working with me, and the reason that people work with me is that because you don't just get me, you get this network that I've built, right, and created. I've gone to my title companies, I've negotiated investor rates for any of my clients. That's a huge savings. I have a $50 off my home inspection discount. I get a discount from my designer. So it's by being in the Lauren Rosen team family or being in my network, you get access to everybody and all the discounts and everything. Sorry.
Thank you.
The mic's weird.
Okay, we're going to move on to another subject here, and I'm going to start with you, Corinne. What advice do you have for the agents who want to grow their business?
Advice do I have for them?
Work hard.
If you want to grow your business. Growing it into a team?
Yeah, well, it could be a team, or it just could be more business in general. What are your tips or advice for people who are looking to expand beyond where they are now?
I would say it's probably figure out delegation and delegating tasks, because one of the things that limits us most in this business, I'll just speak for myself personally, was when I first got started is I thought I had to do everything. And that probably included my personal life as well, right? I have to cook every meal, I have to be at all these different functions, I have to be the person that does this in my business. And so when I really started to see my business grow and take off truly, was when I let my ego down and said, you know what, I need to surround myself with people that are better and smarter than I am, acknowledge that I have some weaknesses, and then have them side by side with me or even out in front of me in the various roles that would help that you're basically the janitor all the way to the CEO. And so we can start delegating that and thinking more in an abundance instead of a scarcity of like, yeah, but then what if they take what I told them or taught them, or I have to give this money away or it's going to cost me, and you start looking at as an investment into growing. I think that's when things really take off. And when you make your first hire, you don't need to have an entire year's worth of salary for someone. I had 4 young kids, all under the age of 6 when I got started in real estate. Well, I had a couple of them while I was doing it. And my first hire was an assistant. And it forced me, number one, to get dressed every single morning and come downstairs, and instead of start searching the MLS and do my prospecting, I was ready. Because when I wasn't dressed, do you think I would try to set an appointment for that day? I would schedule it for the next day instead. And when I was dressed and ready to go, it was like, why aren't we meeting right now this afternoon? I'm on my way out the door. And the other piece was I had really small kids, so I had the assistant, and we had a tea desk, and I sat on one side and she sat on the other side, and so she doubled as a babysitter. I was like, all right, they're in the high chair, they were watching Barney, they have some Cheerios, I'm going out to show this house, and you're inputting these listings or whatever you're doing. And I just said, you know what, I can afford to pay her for the next 3 months. And if I'm not growing the business in the next 3 months, then she obviously wasn't the right hire. She didn't leverage me. And I had the responsibility and just that fire in my belly that, hey, I got to go out and get some more deals so I can afford to pay her. And that sometimes pushes us more than anything else. And my business just took off from there.
You mentioned delegate, which brings me to my next question. How do you go about delegating yet stay accountable to your clients? What is the first thing that you delegated?
I think all of us will agree it was painful, right? That's when we first started delegating, because
It stops the pain.
it's not. It really is. It's a mixed blessing because I operate at a very high efficiency, and my clients get 100%. I'm responsive. So you hand off an element, and you feel like, will this person keep it at the same standard and level? And that's what you fight for above all else, is the consistency, whether they're speaking with me or my assistant. So I have a team of 10. I have 5 administrative people that work for me, and then 4 other agents, and then myself. And when I first started handing off leads to my first buyer's agent, I'd be like, did you follow up? Did you call him? Did you, what do you mean with him? And I'm sure I drove him crazy, and he understood it, and we've worked through it, and now, you just have to have the trust. And then no matter what, the numbers don't lie. So in 90 days, you're gonna know whether they're working or not.
If I can add just something to,
Yes.
To that part of it, I would say number one is you have to set standards. Because if you're not clear on what the standards are, then what are you going to hold somebody accountable to? So number one would be, what are the standards? And then the second thing is, what's the process or the system that you're going to have in place that will allow them to hit those standards? And then the third thing is to inspect what you expect. That's really painful if you don't do that. And the very last thing is, when you delegate, you make the absolute commitment that you will never take that job back. And a lot of times when we delegate something, we haven't decided that. And so if you don't decide that, you're like, oh, you didn't do it right, give that back to me. Oh, you didn't do it as good as I did, give it back to me. And if you decide, I'm not taking that job back, you will do whatever it takes to make sure that they do it the right way, or you'll build a bench of people that will go take their place if they're not able to.
You wanted to add something more?
I feel like we're talking about like building teams, and I just want everyone to know that it's okay if you don't. Like, you don't have to. Like, it takes a certain personality and drive, and so I think the best tip for you guys is like to stop doing the paperwork. So if that means paying a transaction coordinator $400 to make sure that file is handled, do it, and don't say you can't afford it because you can't afford not to. And I think that's what it really comes down to, is like, all of us, obviously, all of our first hire was probably some sort of assistant, right? And so it is hard to give that up. And once you do, though, you can't even, I had to do paperwork last month, like a month ago, BuzzFeed, we were down at TC, and my TC told me to quit. He's known me for 7 years, he usually loves me, so.
I talk to a lot of agents who tell me that they work 24/7. Do you all work 24/7, or do you cut it off at a certain hour?
Depends.
You want the truth?
I want the truth.
I would say in my dream world, I would cut it off at like 6:30, pour a glass of wine, watch a TV show, go to bed. But I feel like especially again, I work with a lot of buyers. And so I feel like where our market's so hot, you really owe it to your buyers to be the first one checking their search, the first one to go see a house, the first one to write an offer. Because if you're not, then you could lose out on something that is what your clients want and deserve. So for me with buyers, I think I definitely don't turn it off. If I can, I do. But if I owe that to them as their agent to be on top of whatever it is that they need, I do it. And
I'm interested.
I think we're probably all different perspectives because I'm newer in my career. I work with a lot of buyers, and I just feel like when the market's different, maybe you can turn it off a little bit earlier, but I feel like with how hot and how crazy this market is, for me, I owe that to the people I work with.
I'm curious of your answer.
We already know my answer. You heard I maintain 65 to 80 listings at any given time. So I have 5 admins that help support me in all of that. But I stopped taking phone calls, and I'll say non-time of the essence phone calls after 5 o'clock. If I'm negotiating a contract, I'm on with an agent. I'm negotiating and such. But what I do is I work a lot. And 8 to 5, I'm in my office. I meet with clients, taking listings pretty much nonstop. And then the 2 things I focus on is listings and marketing. So at night, I usually do my marketing campaigns. So, I still find time to go hiking. I still find time to do some of those things. But, when it becomes something that is difficult to slow down when it gets to a certain level. And I'm definitely at that level. I'm at the level where I'm buying my time back. And I will hire more people and do different things to kind of keep scaling it back and keep giving away jobs for them never to be returned to me. And I'm getting there.
What is your best marketing that you feel is the best thing that you do for your marketing?
Your best marketing strategy.
That's a good one.
My best marketing strategy to get listings or to bring buyers?
Listings.
Listings.
To get the listing or list?
Referrals. When I first started out in 2015, and I had taken a 5-year break, understandably because of the market downturn. I had left the Payson area and then I came back in 2015, so I had to start from scratch. And I spent $55,000 without a single commission. So, it takes money to get listings. And once I did that, once I made my first sale, what I did is in the 2 golf communities, I let that client throw a party for 50 of their friends. And I hosted it. Drinks, appetizers, it cost me $2,500, but every single time I did that, I got 2 or 3 listings. And I did that for 2 years, and I don't need to do it anymore, but everything is relationships and getting in front of somebody who loves you, who you just did a great job for, get in front of their friends.
Great advice. Go ahead, Molly.
And I think one of the best marketing tools we all have right now is we get 80% of our business from social media. Social media is absolutely free. Anybody can make an account for Facebook or Instagram. And I think if you're at a point where you're new and maybe you don't have that money to spend on building your business, use your free avenues. So use anything that you can do that's free. And it costs you $0 to take a picture and tell people what you do and tell them who you are and why they would want to work with you subtly. And that's been our biggest avenue. And it costs nothing.
Go ahead, Alicia.
Can I share another thing that costs? So that's what I did because I wanted to blitz that market and take it over in the first year. I promised my broker that. I said, I'm going to go up there in a year and I'm going to take over and dominate this market. So that is a different, personality type. If you want to do a no money, low cost, you all live in a neighborhood, whether you own an apartment, whether you own a house, you live in a neighborhood. Walk your dog, walk around, say hi to the neighbors. Throw a block party, throw a cul-de-sac party. Everybody, brings their own food. Everything is referrals. Everybody, it's connecting with other people and building that trust. None of that, being friendly to your neighbors costs nothing. And going and doing that and starting at home and keeping it within your neighborhood. If you live in a subdivision, walk around and meet people, hand out flyers and tell them you sell real estate. Tell them what's going on in the neighborhood. You start becoming a resource for your community, next door neighbor. That's really, if you don't know what that is, I'm assuming everybody does at this point. Next door neighbor is huge of becoming a community expert and posting on there and sharing a great contractor, a great window washer, what have you. All of that is free. So you don't have to spend that money. I did it just with intent.
I'm a huge social media believer. I'm sure half of you in here feel like you know me from my social media and you never met me. So I'm a huge believer in it. I know with the fix and flips, it's really fun. Hashtags are everything. If you're ignoring social media, like, don't overwhelm yourself. Pick one. Pick Facebook because it's a better age buying group. And just start doing it and start doing the stories. And you just can't do it, you can do it wrong. Keep your political opinion to yourself. You know, and like studying, you need to start studying social media. It's free marketing, but there are better times of day to post. You want to put a little like with your family there, with your business. And so I'm a huge advocate of social media. I definitely think like the neighborhood thing is important as well. But I think social media is huge. And if you're ignoring it, you're gonna find yourself.
Are you all on social media? So let me ask you this, what strategies do you utilize? For example, do you utilize property pictures? Do you utilize listing pictures? Do you utilize video? What seems to work best for you?
It's per what you're trying to, so if you're going after buyers, it's going to be different than going after sellers. If you're trying to promote a listing in this area, bring in people for the open house, it's going to be different. And that's the thing about social media, it's constantly changing, you have to stay up with it. But it's,
I would also say use whatever where your audience is. So for me, a lot of our clients are between the age of 26 and 36. They're all on Instagram. I also use what you'll actually use. I'm not a huge video person. I don't like doing videos, so I know that that's probably not my best strategy. For me, where my clients are mostly on Instagram, it's really easy for me to post a picture. It's really easy for me to connect with people in that way because my clients are on Instagram liking and commenting and saying hi to random people they don't know. I think, but if your clients are a little bit older, maybe you switch to Facebook or other avenues where that's where they spend their time. And do whatever you're gonna actually do. So if you aren't comfortable on Facebook but you like Instagram, do that. If you're not comfortable on either but you're 100% confident making a YouTube video and posting that twice a day, do that.
So what else want to add to that?
so I just sold a house in Sun Lakes like super quick. So I'm not gonna go spend money on a Facebook ad in that neighborhood, but I'm sure gonna mail them some postcards every 30 days for the next 6 months and tell them that I sold that house. And I think that's how, you just gotta know what you're like targeting.
So the two things I would add with social media would be, number one, just authenticity, right? So we call it fake book. So not being fake. When I first got started in the business, I tried to be all things to everyone, and I didn't really start enjoying what I was doing until I decided, you know what? Sometimes I don't want to work with this person. I don't like them. They don't like me. We don't mesh. And then they refer me other people that I don't really want to work with. And then I look around and I might have a database of people that I don't like, or they may be egregious. You know, kind of going back to the boundary piece. I was a younger mom, and so I decided, hey, I'm not going to work on Sundays. And I couldn't make that decision immediately, but he said, all right, well, maybe I'm going to take one Sunday a month off, right? Because when you're working with buyers, you owe it to them, you have to go out there. And then I decided it's going to be 2 Sundays a month off. And then I got to a point where it's like, I just don't work Sundays. If that doesn't work for you, then I can't work for you. And I think that same thing applies to social media, that we can't be afraid. I'll do videos and I see people unfriend me. And I'm like, yeah, that's offensive. That hurts my feelings. And then, you know, I meet the psychologist because it's childhood memories, things come up, and I'm like, no, you know what? That's actually a good thing, because that means it makes room for more people that actually want to see what I'm putting out there, and I can be authentic that way. The other piece is being targeted. So one of the things I think we miss a lot on social media is that you can put targeted lists. You can upload a file of people. So if you're tracking who comes to your open house, or you're tracking things you do in a particular neighborhood, or you have your database in an Excel spreadsheet, you can actually upload that to Facebook. And so only certain lists see what it is that you put out. So you can speak to that particular segment of people. So that would be the other thing I would say about social.
And retargeting. For me, with social media, I use my personal page to attract sellers, and I use my business page to attract buyers. So people, you know, I live in a small enough town that people hear my name and they want to go on social media and check me out, right? Everything is public. I don't have anything personal, and that may scare some people, and if it does, just realize somebody may see something that you don't want them to see, but it's in my reminder. Everything I have on my Facebook page is public, and I post pictures of my really big dogs, who everybody loves. Everybody knows their names in my town, and really beautiful nature shots. And every once in a while, I'll share something real estate, but people look at my Facebook page, and before I've even met them, they told me, oh, I looked at your Facebook, I saw I love Buckley, or what have
That's
you.
what I actually said to her today. I was like, I know your dogs.
Right, we were fighting each other a couple days ago, and we were both on the panel. And so on my business page, that's where we post and new listings, just closed, that type of thing. So figure out what works for you, but like Corinne said, be authentic. You cannot pretend like you're something you're not, because people see through that. Figure out what's important to you. Animals is important to me. That is my thing, and fortunately up in Mason, 90% of the people have animals, so it works for me. But you can't make up, like, if you hate animals, you can't go around, oh yeah, I'm on the Humane Society, I'm doing this. It's not gonna work, you know what I'm saying? So figure out what is important to you and make that your thing. If you're not charitable, figure out this. Whatever it may be, figure out what is important to you on a personal side and make that part of your business. People want to see a human on the other end.
And then really important on the Facebook ads, you guys need to be doing retargeted ads, which means the same people see them a few times. Because then you can actually start branding yourself and then it sticks out to them. So that's really important. It's the same with postcards. Like I'm gonna do postcards in this 55 plus community every 30 days. So don't think you try something once and go, oh, it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work, you're right. Do it 5 more times, you'll get a client. So if that's the same with the ads on Facebook, you have an option to do a retargeted ad and hit the same people over and over.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was curious about, because it sounded like you guys were doing a lot of organic marketing on social media, and I was just curious as to, are you doing paid ads? How frequently?
Absolutely. I mean, yes.
They are doing paid
Can I
ads.
talk about a paid ad? So all of you heard about Paradise, California, that completely burned to the ground, right? Payson is a town similar to, kind of a mountain town. And so this may sound horrible, but in the same sense, I felt like I was throwing them a lifeline. They were all getting their insurance money. There's no mailing addresses to mail them anything. But what I did is I did a really beautiful scenic pictures of Payson, and I targeted if they were on their Facebook that their home was Paradise, California. And I said something like, come to Paradise in Payson, Arizona, mile 4 seasons, hour to the closest city. And I did that, and we got several buyers from that. And so it's just thinking about what's going on in our world right now, and how do I attract those people and offer them a lifeline of someplace that they can relocate to for whatever reason.
Very smart.
Very nice.
And I would say I do 0 paid ads, and like I said, 80% of our business comes from Instagram. So you don't have to spend money, but you should be consistent and you should be yourself. And I never made a business page. I made my personal page and included my business and my life in on it. And with that, we don't have to like reach out to people for business. They get to know you. And for anybody who has a Facebook or Instagram account, when you have that, people get to know you and they could have no idea who you are besides what they've seen on your little scroll page. And then they reach out to you because they know that you're the expert in what they want, or they know that you know the area that they're looking for because they follow you for, months or years or weeks.
Lauren, you mentioned brand, and I've been sometimes amazed when I've gone to search for an agent's bio and I can't find one on their website, and sometimes I can't find a website. So do you all have websites, and how important is that to what you do?
So websites are extremely important when you're going after listings, because it shows that you're capable of creating a beautiful internet piece.
Thank you.
It's our online business card.
It is. You use that more than anything else, would you say?
I think
Yeah.
websites are
Okay.
important, but I think social media is even more important because that's what they look at, your lifestyle, who you are, like what kind of person you are, and they're making a judgment call that way too.
I mean, when an agent tries to join my team, the first thing I do is check your social media. Sorry.
Very important to know.
Absolutely.
The first thing I do is check their social media. Like, can I even tell they're a realtor?
Yes.
Instagram, it amazes me how many people don't have a bio. It's super important. I think what you need to know about, it depends what you're going after. If you're going after listers, like you better have a really nice digital listing presentation as well as a really pretty website and know how to pitch yourself. If you're going after buyers, yeah, the little teaser photos on Instagram and Facebook and stuff are going to get you going. And so I think it's all important, and I think if you want to be successful, you need to figure out what your specialty is. And stop trying to be everything, because you wake up every single day and you're like, I'm going after buyers that are firemen, you will figure out a way to get a ton of business because you're so focused. Where if you wake up every day and you're like, I'm just gonna go after buyers today, maybe drink coffee, you're gonna go watch some TV, you're not focused. You're like, I'm going after nurses, like you're gonna put yourself in front of these people. So I think like getting a specialty immediately. Of course you can do other business, but you wanna be like, I specialize, I help teachers get their first homes and build, it's like, come up with your brand. And I don't think that you have to build a team to have a brand. Everything's a baby step, so.
Is there something about business, your business, that you wish you would have known sooner?
CRM systems, technology, hiring an assistant earlier, not buying that house with no way down.
What is the best CRM?
What is the best CRM, was the
The best
question.
CRM is you, and you have to make it work.
I know.
Organized.
The one that you will use.
The one you will use.
I have spent so much money on CRMs that are, like, I know myself, I will not spend 10 minutes in putting a client into a CRM. So if I spend $800 a month on a CRM, that's amazing, but I won't use it, it does zero good for me. So I use Lion Desk.
Why do you use Lion Desk?
Because I actually use it.
Is it easy?
It's so easy. So for me, I think for a lot of realtors, like, you really want to track your numbers and where you're at and what money you're bringing in and what money you have coming in the next 6 months. And then putting your clients in and following up with them is like kind of how you get that money. So for me, Lion Desk is just super easy. You input your person, you put a deal in of what you're going to make, when it's going to close, what if they're your buyer or your seller, and you're done. It's not like you have to put in their birthday and their social media account and their spouse and they're like, I just won't use something like that. I know I won't because I've tried 12. And
So less questions is better for you.
simple and easy for me is the way to go. Yeah, but for other people, and I'm an agent with a partner, so if you have a big team, maybe more complex, and you have somebody who is only inputting your clients in your database, then maybe you want something that's a little like higher end and a little more complex. But for me, no, easy. If it's not easy, I won't use it, and then there's no point having it.
Can you direct campaign from that?
Yes.
What was the question?
Can you direct a campaign from Lion?
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, you can do video too.
I mean, I have my opinion of Lion Desk. I literally just canceled my account after 2.5 years today, so, I'm building I'm basically bringing in 2 different systems together and then connecting them through Zapier. I don't want to get all technical, but yeah, so Lion Desk is a great, CRM is if you use it. And so like, I should be retired right now. I've been doing this for like 16 years. I've talked to thousands of people and I just never had a CRM. I'm like, everybody knows me to call me, and they do, but like, that's why I put 100 deals a year since 2009 by myself. And I'm like, I'm stagnant. I can't even grow. And it's because I didn't have a database. And so I started baby steps. I did send out cards. I'm a really big handwritten note person. So send out cards is like these automated like birthday cards and stuff. It was really cool. I don't know if any of you've seen my key that we do for all our clients, the Warren Rosen Team key. We take a photo with them at our closings. We mail them a card a month later with their photo on the card saying, congratulations, and it's them, and so I'm so excited. They put all over social media, so like, I started to send out cards, and now I've got a lot more digital and techy. They have tons of drips on Lion Desk. They also share drips with like other teams around the country, so you can like kind of go and customize theirs. They have a custom phone number, so anytime someone calls my for sale signs, it actually tracks who they are. I get the photo, the social media, their phone number, so that I can start going after them. And then I had Lion Desk set up that as soon as that lead came in, an automatic drip turned on, and it was a drip that was text, email, and then you set up a task to call. And so like that's where really Lion Desk is actually. It's a great CRM for like what, $25-30 a month. Something really reasonable. It's a really good start. And okay, so Lion Desk, my team actually big for it. I'm setting up Realvolve, and the reason why is because there's a transaction coordinating whole system in it with the drips that you can connect to it. So it's like, I'm basically I'm making everything more automated.
What do you use?
I
using Infusionsoft, but I'm a techie, and it's not super easy, but it really manages everything. Infusionsoft.
We use Boomtown and we're transitioning over to Rivety because it has a transaction backend management system. Rivety, B-R-I-V-I-T-Y, Rivety. But I think to the point, we can get all techie and say we use these different systems, and we said the one that works is the one that you use. But realistically, I think different than when we got started 16 or 17 years ago, is that we actually have to nurture clients longer. And the internet's caused that. It used to be like when you got in front of someone, they're ready to go. And now today, that's not the case. They start looking online, and so you have to have something that helps us nurture them along the process for a lot longer. Maybe it's sending out text messages and drip campaigns and tasking systems, because most people don't know you have to touch people at least 12 to 15 contacts before they actually convert to something. And so if you start putting a bunch of people in there and you're not following back up, when you actually do hit them, they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I already bought something. And that's something that happens when people come to our team. They're like, Corinne, these leads are crap. These people already bought a house. I'm like, no, somebody else called them and they didn't convert them. So these are actually good. Just convert the next one that you talk to, and we're just not touching them enough. So I think anything that you can get that has enough touches is the right system.
Okay, we have another question here in the back. Comment?
Well, I have a question.
Okay, so I'm fairly new in the real estate business. I'm a retired teacher 3 years ago. Said, hey, I'm going to quit teaching. I'm going to do real estate. I'm a real estate license, broker. Do this. You can do that broker. You don't have to pay anything. Do that broker. You do this one. Do this. As a teacher, I need something to teach me where to go. And to me, I get your social thing. I know how to do media. I have probably a plethora. I have millennials that are ready to buy homes. I have adults that are ready to go to retirement homes. I have probably 5,000 people that are ready to buy a home. My fear and what I'm going through right now is that I'm afraid to step up and go, hey, I'll say that, because I don't know the process. The last 5 months, I went to a couple classes, and they're like, you're going to do this stuff, you go do this. I took a class, I go to my real estate thing, oh, we're not doing that, we're going to do this way. So for me, and I'm sorry if I'm stepping on anybody's toes and you're probably way beyond where I'm at, but for me, to even step in, to even go, oh, Dad, you're going to this house. Swear to goodness.
Join the team.
I don't
Join
even
the
know
team.
where to start. Help me, Lord. I can't touch you because I don't know. I need to be educated.
Not
and as an
everybody.
educator myself, I am lacking the education of the Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, Corinne.
So what I would say is, for some reason in real estate, we feel like it's this natural progression. Like, I get out of 8th grade, I go to high school. I get out of high school, I go to junior college. I get out of junior college, I go to college, and it's this ladder. And that's not the case in real estate, because there are some people that try to start a team or stay on their own, and frankly, they could be a lot happier and a lot more successful if they were a part of a team. And then there's other people like us that say, oh my gosh, that excites the hell out of me, and I love to stay up at night figuring out this stuff. And there's other people who are like, why the hell do you ever want to do that? And there's a great one, there's a place, for everyone. So I think it's more of find a team that meets the needs.
I spent 2 years on a team when I first got in the business. I mean, we all paid our dues, and if you think you're going to do this without a team,
Yeah, I did too.
And
I was the universal answer here is
find
join
a
the team.
But the other thing is, a team is not like it's just like a brokerage where everyone is different. So if you talk to my team, you can already see through us or up here, we're all very different persons. We're the same, but different. So you need to figure out what it is that you want, and then interview a few different teams.
Oh, I interviewed 20 3 years ago. But I found it.
Now you just gotta pick one and go.
yeah, be
I did,
positive.
but it's not going.
You gotta find one that talk to people that are on the team and see if you relate to the people that are on the team and verify and vet out if they're successful. Like Lauren said, she has people that are doing.
I don't care about success, just somebody tell me how the hell it is the house. Tell me how the hell it is. Find a buyer, where do I go?
One of the things is, once you join a team or a brokerage, do your research first, and then commitment is 90, I'm gonna make up a number, 90% of success. You have to commit. Anybody who joins my team, I sit down, I have them do a disc behavioral, I interview them, the team interviews them, and when I offered them a position, I said, I need your commitment for 1 year. If I do everything that I say I'm gonna do, which means I'm gonna train you, I'm gonna make sure you're successful, you need to promise me a year. And you need to look at it without somebody saying that to you, whether it's your designated broker, your team leader. You need to commit. You need to make a decision. Research, make a decision, and commit to it. Because if you keep hopping around or you keep going from one thing to another and don't commit to, I'm gonna farm nurses, I'm gonna do this, you won't be successful. You have to commit.
And I would say too, if you decide to go a route where you don't join a team, like ask yourself what's holding you back. Are you going to every class that you can go to? Are you asking people to shadow them? Are you sitting open houses with people? Are you asking your brokerage what kind of mentorship program they have if it's not a team? And then I would also say pretend like you know everything that you don't. When I was new, I went to a listing appointment and my coach said, do you want me to come with you? And I was like, no, it's okay. And I just faked my way through the entire thing. And I think you probably hold yourself back more than anybody else does, because no one's going to ask. 90% of the listing appointments or buyer's appointments you go on will not ask you how many people you've sold a house to, or how many listings you've sold, or why should I choose you to work with over other people. They want to like you and they want to know you and they want to feel confident in who you are as a person. And if you've gotten that far where they think you're great, like you can probably do the rest with guidance.
But there are answers to those questions too, because as a new agent, I haven't sold anything, let's say, but my brokerage has sold X number of
I have a great
whatever.
mentor that I work under who sold X amount of houses. I'm with my home group. Did you know that we sell this many houses a month or this many a year? Or you can answer those questions in kind of a offset way.
Whatever.
But being confident, if you're like, oh, geez, thought you wouldn't ask that. If you say that, you'll never get it. But if you're like, oh, I'm glad you asked that. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is how I'll help you. The numbers don't really matter. But I feel like I'm so different from you guys because your guys' numbers do matter. You guys are high producers where you go on a listing appointment, you say we've sold this many golf course houses,
But it wasn't that
We weren't
much
those
money.
yes, I just feel like my advice is so different from theirs.
We're overnight success.
I wish.
But they did start somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, my next question is, did you all have mentors in the beginning, and how did you find them?
I still believe in mentors. So I started on a team because I was a brand new agent and I didn't want to pretend I knew everything, and I didn't want to pretend to my clients that I wasn't, it blows my mind that agents just become agents and don't have to join a team or go out there. You're selling 6-figure, 7-figure things, and so that blows my mind. And so my team, I'm super hands-on, and they could all contest this because I really care. And so I think being on a team, how are you gonna learn? When you go to a listing appointment and you're my team, you're like, oh, my team and I have sold this much millions, or my team's in the top 1% in Arizona year after year, and you're not selling yourself. And the problem is when you're trying to sell yourself and you don't have that, it's hard to sell. So if you have this team that you can sell and pitch, it makes it where now you're gonna hire.
Yeah, I was a buyer's agent from 2004 to 2009 on a team, and that's all I was allowed to do and all I did, and that's how I learned to sell real estate. So you do have to start, we all have been in, you're relatively new, we've all been 15 plus years, right, in the business. So I started my team in 2015, but I was a buyer's agent for 4 or 5 years to make sure that I learned how to sell real estate and how to actually write contracts and everything.
I didn't have a mentor early on, but I got a coach, which sometimes can be better than a mentor because you have to pay for it. And if you don't pay for it, you do what I call ask hole. A-S-K hole. So you ask, and you go to all these classes, and you're a professional doctorate of real estate, but you practice nothing. You go to a class, and if you come to my class, I'm going to say something different than what everyone's going to say. You're like, that's a good idea, I'm going to go do that. And then next week you go do something different. And just in these ways, you don't focus on one thing. And so I think sometimes when you have that financial commitment of hiring a coach, then you actually will follow through. And you also have somebody that's giving you accountability, where sometimes the mentor is just giving you advice and showing you a process or a system, but they're not saying, hey, did you do this? Did you talk to this many people? Why didn't you do it? And kind of putting you on the hot seat. And today I actually have 2 coaches, and I'm blessed to be able to call Gary Keller one of my mentors. So that's a blessing for me. Jeremy knows that's why I'm not at MHG. That's the only reason I'm not at MHG.
I put a hit on Gary, actually. At least,
But that's
What's it gonna take?
Yeah.
well, I had mentors, but they didn't know they were my mentor. I read a lot of books. So you don't have Gary Keller like Corinne does, but you have Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Read that book. Yeah, there's a lot of books out there to read about leadership, about salesmanship. When I first decided that I was going to start selling real estate, I went to the library in 2004 and checked out books about how to sell. I had no idea how to sell. I never had a background in that. I was a corporate attorney. And so there are mentors out there. You don't need to find a person. There are books out there that these people can mentor you.
Thank you so much for saying that.
I mean, it could be free, but there is something about paying a mentor and a coach that makes it like, I spend about $30,000 a year on my coach, and it makes me do the work, because it's not, free money, and then I do have mentors in my life. And the thing about coaches is that you have different coaches at different times in your life. I'm not looking for a real estate coach right now. I'm looking for a business building, scaling coach. Like, how do I take my team to 3 cities, and how do I build it? So, I've grown past, I had a great, I hired a coach to build my team, and he was great, and I used him for that year, and I outgrew him. So I think the thing is knowing when you outgrow people, too. And so I am a huge advocate on self-education, but also having someone hold you accountable. And maybe just 2 of you that don't even know each other in this room right now decide to team up, and you meet every Thursday, and you hold each other accountable. You prospect for 4 hours on, I don't know, find a stranger, you want to be accountable to. Seriously, try it, and there.
Thank you. Jeremy has a question.
I want to talk about the future of real estate as it pertains to you guys as agents, as team leaders, and the industry as a whole. In my own opinion, one of the things I think is important as we move forward in this industry is the ability to have systems and processes and tech so dialed in that we can do more deals in less time. And if we're worried about downward pressure on commissions, and we're worried about disruptors and all these other things, that's something to curb against that, right? Is that ability to do more transactions in less time. So I wanted to hear from you guys on some keys or what you guys see as important as we move into the future in this industry.
Well, obviously, what you just said, that automated is everything. And so here's the thing, if you don't have the money, that 30, 50 grand to go build out these systems, get on a team. And if you ask a team leader what your cut is in the first 5 minutes, you've already failed. Because you don't get it. You don't get our value. Like, my team consists of a transaction manager and a listing manager, and then 6 agents. And I don't call them buyer agents. I used to. I didn't like it. They can sell whatever they want. I'm very hands-on with them. I go to listing appointments with them. So I think you guys need to know what you're competing against, which is multi-billion-dollar technology companies. I think you've heard of them: Opendoor, OfferPad, Zillow, Redfin. Have you guys driven down the I-10 and seen the 1.5% listing fee billboard? That's scary shit. And so you guys just need to know what's coming. And if you're a loan agent, you can do your 7 to 10 deals every year for a long time. Or you just go and get people that know how to lead you, like these people, and go for it. And stop counting the percentages and every penny and this. Look at the value of the mentor you're getting. By joining it, to hire you as a coach, easily 50 grand a year, right? You're getting them free, and she's giving you buyers. So I think everybody needs to stop. They need to look at the bigger picture and know that we're going against these multi-billion-dollar technology companies, and you can't win single agent.
Yes, just to reiterate that, in my market, I am the only one that has a true team. The other agents don't stand a chance. It's just a fact of having a team and having an operation and actually having a business. So we call it a team. It's really a business. I have a business of 10 people that employs these 9 people and feeds and sustains, 40 other people with their families, with spouses and children. So I do agree. I don't have the pressure of OfferPad and such coming in. They want to send referrals to me using my branding and using my marketing, my success. So they want to, post me on their webpage, and then, if somebody hits in my zip code, refer it over to me. But
33% cut, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah, and right. No, you're exactly right. I'm still going to go back to relationships. We all need to connect. Hiding behind a computer, hiding behind a phone, it doesn't work. We need to all connect. And the value that I provide to high-end clients, the fact is, the money doesn't matter to them as much as their time, and know that they have an expert taking care of them. I basically, most of my clients are CEOs, entrepreneurs. There used to be an in charge in my arena. I own that. They need to step back, and I'm going to take care of them. And once they get that, They leave me alone and they know. They're not calling me every day, what's going on, what's happening. They know that this is my arena and they don't have to worry about it. And I don't think that will go away if we provide that value. People are not going to want to stick with, my generation of buyers, Payson's mostly retirement community, so people are 55 and older generally. So no matter what, relationships trump everything. So focus on relationship.
Yeah, so just to address a couple of things that Jeremy said head on, and what was already been said this afternoon about joining a team. A team is an important avenue if you don't have the money, like Lauren said, to invest in it. But the other piece is, I can speak for myself personally as a leader of a team. I have my head up and I'm having conversations with what we would call the zoo, Zillow, OfferPad, and Opendoor. If you've heard that. And I'm talking to those people. Like, we've been in relationship with some of those people for a few years, where we are actually taking our sellers' offers from them, and then we have been relisting properties for some of those entities. We're getting the listings back because we have one of two agents that had a relationship with them. Because I had my head up saying, we can't be afraid of this, because what's happening is they're a lead funnel. People are saying, well, let me look and see what that is, and now they're going to resell the leads to us at a 33 or 35% referral fee, so we want them to come into us first. And so just kind of going back to what I said earlier, if we're trying to wear all these hats, you need to look at aligning with people that have their head up, that there's functions in all throughout their business, because it's not just a team, it's a business, and saying, hey, we have our head up, how do we make sure we're not, Blockbuster, Netflix, whatever you want to call it, and that we have systems and processes in place, because to Jeremy's sentiments and to what Lauren has said, that we are going through a commission compression, we're starting to feel it already, and so we are going to have to learn how to do higher volume of business. We can't be afraid of that. We just want to say, okay, well, yeah, that's what it is. We're going to do more business, but how can we do more business in the same amount of time and still give an incredible experience? And then the second point is, if you don't have to focus on all that stuff, like what CRM, let me research this CRM and see what the best one is, and then, oh my gosh, what's the zoo doing today? I got to figure that out. And all the different things that are happening in the industry and technology and systems and processes, then you focus on what your number one thing is, which is value. If you provide massive value through relationships, you will have enough business more than you ever have to worry about. But it's when we try to worry about all the other things, I think, that is where we actually fail, and it's probably based out of fear. So you just need to trust, go in, not worry about a split, commit 6 months, see what happens, and I bet you look up and you actually make more money if you're not counting that percentage.
Thank you. One last question, but it's actually twofold for each of you. What was the toughest lesson that you had to learn in real estate, and what's been the highlight of your career so far?
Well, sure, give me that one.
We're like going back, like, what is it? Toughest lesson?
Yeah, toughest lesson and career highlight so far.
You can pass it.
Career highlight, I don't know yet. I don't know what my career highlight is. Toughest lesson is probably knowing, like I said up to, I would have one from the real estate side as a realtor and one as an investment from the flipping side. Doing what you're not an expert at. If you try to do too much, or you try to focus on something, or you invest too heavily, or you, on the investment side, it would definitely be doing too much. Flipping too many houses, investing where I didn't know what I was doing. That would be the hardest part on that side. On the realtor side, would be realizing that not everyone's going to be your person. You're not the right fit for everyone. You might have clients that fire you, or you might have clients that you have to fire just to keep moving forward, and that literally not everyone's going to be your fit.
Great. Lauren?
So I've had a lot of lessons in my life. Let's see, one of my biggest mistakes, I was doing the trustee sales, and I had, it was crazy back then, so I had 2 bidders downtown, and I typoed an extra 1. I won the house. That was $10,000, oops. That's just one of my many, Obviously, I think my highlight is just my team. And it's funny, so I built my team 2.5 years ago because I'm just so busy, and it's for me, and I need help, and it's all me, and I was hiring people that didn't fit my culture, and it got harder, and I finally realized that my team had nothing to do about me. It was about them. And then once I had that shift, it was like every day I wake up, like you said, and you know, you're helping all these families and livelihoods and the escrow companies and the home warranty companies, and you're like creating like real opportunity for people. And once I had that mind shift, which is about a year into my team, God, my agents just got better, you know? And so like that was where my turning, I think that's my biggest success so far, is like watching them. I mean, my rookie agent did $140,000 last year at a 50% cut, you know? What are you guys making at your 100% cuts? So I mean, that's just something to look at, is what value and who you can be around.
So my most difficult lesson learned in real estate is, you know, I'm a risk taker. So at the height of the market, I was invested in big dollar spec homes. And I was making $800,000 off a spec home. That sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Until the market crashed in 2000, at the end of 2008, and I still had a spec home. So getting through some of that and just learning the lessons. I mean, I don't regret any of it because everything made me better, it made me stronger, it made me smarter. So get out there, take risks, and some will pan out and you may get checked on a few, but that's part of life and learning lessons. My greatest accomplishment that I felt so far is being voted best business person and having my business, my team, be voted best business in Rim Country. I mean, to me that's crazy. I'm just a real estate agent, and to be respected as a business person and be respected as a best business. And the business person's 3 years in a row, they voted me best business person. So that to me it blew my mind that we are being respected as not just real estate agents, but we're legitimate business people.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I would say for me, the most painful has probably been in running a team that I can put my heart and soul into, stay up at night trying to help somebody, and that they can still leave. It's kind of like a listing, right? In the early days of what happened in a listing, some of those ones that you try the hardest, they still don't appreciate all that effort and they leave, so that would probably be the painful. On the flip side of it, one of my goals is I want to help at least 12 people become millionaires, and I've already done that with 2 people, one on my team and one through one of my coaching clients. So that would definitely be a big highlight.
Congratulations, ladies. Job well done. Anybody else have a question before we wrap up? No? Okay, once again, thank you to our esteemed panelists. We really appreciate you sharing your time with us. Thank you so much. Hopefully you all gained some valuable knowledge in the survival guide, so thank you for being here. Enjoy your evenings.
I was there.